What is going on YouTube? EDM Adam here. It is that time of year, the top 20 songs of 2020. To be honest, I really struggled with this number. I was stuck with like 22 or 25 for a while. 20 and 2020 just sounded so good. So because of that, I'm gonna give you an additional 20. Now, before we get into it though, obviously this is an opinion, this is not objective, this is subjective. You'll see there's a wide variety in here. This kind of gives you a picture of what I listen to primarily, even though I try to get a wide array of genres. You know, I typically gravitate towards the melodic bass, various versions of house, drum and bass. So yeah, let's kick it off. Number 20, Kygo. I'll wait. I had to get Kygo in on the list. Everybody loves a good summer Kygo song. One thing I like about him, he's been incredibly consistent, so regardless of whether you love or hate his stuff, you know, as his music's become more synonymous with the pop and the mainstream, he's stayed the same. Whereas like other artists will change their style in order to make the mainstream, he kind of did the opposite, where his, you know, tropical house just kind of became synonymous with pop music. So kudos to him. I love this song. It's infectious, it's fun, it's why Kygo is who he is. Coming in at number 19, Feel Something, Excision, ILLENIUM, and I Prevail. Oh man. This one, I remember listening to this one for the first time. I was actually in the shower and I was like, oh shit. I immediately ran over to my buddy's house and was like, yo, sit down, listen to this. I need to see your reaction. Honestly, just like, you know, the classic hybrid style drop. And typically the screaming and whatnot, like, you know, the really like aggressive vocals would turn me off. But it fits so well with the energy and everything. It's just really just a great song to rage to. Upon finishing listening to it, it sounds like a sequel to Gold Stupid Love. Like, while it's definitely different, like it's, you know, the same structure, it just was like, oh, this is like part 2 of that collab. I mean, just, and then we just get violent here. Just violent. Ugh. Yeah. I mean, it feels like you're like listening to a demon shoot a machine gun. Coming in at 18, The Difference. By law and my loyalty to Flume, I am required to have this song. He's the artist that got me into EDM, that I dove down the rabbit hole, and this song is just so unique. Like, this song is exactly why he can't be replicated, because after years of future bass and then experimental, we get this like off the wall, down tempo kind of drum and bass. Like it's just Flume. It's just a sing along. It's so catchy. Another thing I wanted to note on this is I feel like this is probably a one-off. I don't see him doing another repeat or, you know, diving into like this drum and bass kind of like, because if you listen to it, it's not like typical tempo for drum and bass. It's a little bit slower. So it'll be interesting to see if he continues with this, but I feel like that was just a one-off thing because he's just, you know, always off the cuff. I'm gonna do something different, so obviously a solid and a classic. Air I Breathe was a much-needed release from Subfocus and Wilkinson. They had teased earlier in the year, or no, late 2019, Illuminate, which would have been my choice, but I'm gonna stick to the rules and say 2020. I don't like to use this phrase too often, but it is really true with this one. It's simple and effective. I mean, this is just a hype drum and bass track. Without leaving this sounding too shallow, I mean, it's just got a really nice atmosphere to it. It's just a great song. I mean, that's all I can say. Coming in at number 16 is a track probably not many of you know. This song impressed me, like, immediately upon first listen. I actually heard it on Suicide Sheep's channel, so shout out to him. This is one of those I could just listen to on a loop all day. There's something about it. I had it on my summer playlist just constantly, and it doesn't get old. The biggest thing on this is the musicality. It is just with the piano, and then you've got the beautiful dynamic between Sad Alex and Yomas. I believe that's how you pronounce it. It's a little bit like Chainsmokers-esque in that it appeals to the pop side, but it's just so good. Just delicate, but I could just listen to this all day. I don't know what it is. Yeah, and then listen to her vocals in here, and they kind of do like this little call and response thing. It's really good. Get right in here. Percussion too. I mean, this is just, I'm surprised he's not bigger. I mean, this is like a really professional track. Listen to the outro on this too. You've got like the strings and the piano. It's just like the musicality, like I said earlier, it's just A1. Oh, she tastes so bitter. Tinted Eyes is just one of those perfect like hip hop house crossovers that just everybody can appreciate. But the bass line that Dubs put on this is probably the thickest bass line I've heard all year. I mean, come on! That's just so thick!
Damn, boy, he's thick! Boy, that's a thick-ass boy!
The bass line just sells it. It really does, the whole thing. Coming in at 14, this, I had to get this in here. This whole EP, the AM44 EP, was literally one of those that I added all 4 songs. Absolutely fell in love with this sound. With the passing of I.O. not too long ago, it's just... When I heard the news, I immediately ran to this EP, and when I listened to Epilogue here, it's... The swell into the second groove, it's like I get goosebumps. Just listen to how this evolves into this drop here. With Light's vocals on this as well, it just completes the atmosphere in the song. This is one of these songs and projects that really just surprised me. I did not go into it because he's more of like almost like a dark techno, like progressive house vibe, and I'm not usually into that. It takes a really good house track for me to be impressed because, you know, obviously it gets really formulaic and repetitive. I mean, you could really hear like a little bit of Deadmau5's sound in it. Like you could tell he was a prodigy and was like working at Mousetrap. I said it in the video. I did a little short tribute on him, but honestly, listen to this song start to finish. It's so good. Right here. Listen to this. I mean, that line too, why is my mind always 1,000 places? That really speaks to me. I feel that. Yeah, I think it goes without saying he's gonna be missed. Staying in the Mousetrap label, coming in at number 13, the king of it himself, Deadmau5. It's amazing how 10 years later, this sound, it somehow stays fresh and modern, but yet also has that like classic progressive house sound. Like, it's not just God worship either. Like, if I heard this song from somebody who I didn't know, I'd be like, wow, this is impressive. I mean, listen to these opening chords here. I mean, the little pitch bend in there. Coming in at number 12, this is another example of a song where I absolutely loved the entire EP, added every song through and through. Really couldn't pick one, so honestly, if you're not familiar with Roman Silver, go to his latest EP, just listen to it start to finish. It is one of the most incredible, if not the most interesting EP I've listened to all year. I was talking about him with one of my buddies the other day, and before I could even get the words out of my mouth, he was just like, he's pushing the sound. And I was like, dude, yes, like, it's exactly what he's doing. He's got this super unique blend of just all these different genres. I don't even know what to call it. Like, it's just one of those can't put him in a box type artists. It's so different from everything you hear. That's a small sample of just like all the different sounds he uses. I mean, if you listen to any of the other songs on the EP, it's incredible how it's like, I almost want to call it like a new form of complextro, because he's got so many things going on. It's just so interesting, super refreshing, somebody to watch out for. I want to try to sit down with this dude before he blows up, because I think when I first heard the song, I was like, yo, Monster Cat just found its newest prodigy. So this one coming in at number 11. Another song probably not many of you are super familiar with. If you've been a long time subscriber of the channel, this is probably my most dramatic reaction when I first heard this. Oh! Because I was listening to the project start to finish, track by track, and the EP, he really draws you in, like with this, he kind of like lulls you to sleep with like these really like down-tempo, like atmospheric music, to the point where I was like, yo, is this gonna pick up? Like, are we gonna get any of the like classic melodic dubstep we usually are used to? In typical Ben Walters style, with his builds being pretty much like silent and it just hits you. I don't know if this kid's got something extra on the drops or if it's just that juxtaposition, but this thing is massive.
Finally on the coast of Nigeria and the South Atlantic Ocean.
I mean, come on! Oh, it's so good! Just a wall of sound. Yeah, if you're not familiar with his stuff, and this is the first you're hearing this name, watch the Hans Zimmer Time remix he did from the movie Inception. It's insane. I know he's doing his collab project with blanking on the name, but yeah, when we get an individual release, I'm always paying attention, and this one delivered. So it should go without saying, you should be listening to all these songs start to finish. These are great songs in my opinion, but I'm not diehard Tritonal. A lot of their stuff trends towards the more like commercial house side of things, so I kind of went into this song expecting not much, and I got like everything. This song just has like an X factor to it. Maybe it's the Alan Watts lecture to like start this like very introspective atmosphere, but this thing's unique. The nice thing about this too is like it just slowly evolves into this nice progressive house track, and there's so many elements throughout it. I had no idea on first listen, I think this was like the first or second week I did this, that I was gonna like this song this much.
And all you're doing is watching it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'd love to play the whole thing, but obviously copyright, fair use law, you know, you gotta be careful with all that. Oh, with that like foghorn almost, and then you get to this like, I think this is a perfect example of A1 sound selection, just everything blending well together in just a really solid mix. Yeah, this was a refreshing change of direction from Tritonal. I hope to see a little bit more of this from them. Coming in at number 9, Naked Soul, Last Heroes. Honestly, it was a question of like, which one do I want to pick by these guys? Like, it was so tough. Similar to the Ben Walter track, this is one of those that I was like, I remember this one being the most dramatic reaction. This one really hits you, but so much of their stuff does. They just put out this crazy like, I'll put it up on the screen, or this crazy collage of like all the stuff they release, and like the album art's just beautiful in all of it because it's classic like Ophelia record style and this whole other world of melodic bass music. This one's really just the definition of epic. If you've got like some really like wook bass head friends, they're like, dude, I don't like the melodic stuff, this is one of those to like maybe try to convince them to come over and lit to the other side. Like, how do you not respect it? So good! Yeah, that's definitely gonna be top 10 material there. Coming in at number 8, the silkiest, smoothest, just incredible, I guess it's like future bass track. Yeah, Medasin really outdid himself, and then Naomi Wild on this, who I've personally met. I think I've plugged that once before. But it's just a great dynamic. I mean, like, we've heard variations of like saw waves and all these synths, but this is really like, I think the smoothest, warmest one I've ever heard. Whatever touches in the sound design he did are just spot on. I mean, just listen to this. Ah, that like airy like whistle. I wish I knew how to describe that. It fits so well. Got like a marimba in here. One of my favorite parts in the second half, he's got this like little lead that just kind of goes off on its own tangent. Oh, listen to it. Damn! iFeature with Passion. This is one of those off the Subsidia label. It's off of Dawn, which is the melodic bass side. Initially, I wasn't crazy about this song because of this weird little like bridge he has, but this first drop is just so powerful. The second half goes kind of heavy, which is fine. I mean, this first drop alone is why this thing's in the top 10. My reaction to this was rather dramatic as well. Such a full sound. Did Excision find talent, or did Excision find talent? I know there's like a lot of criticism over Subsidia and like whether or not people thought it was good, but there were some gems in there, and this is definitely one of them. Adventure Club at 6, Back to You. This one really stood out to me when I first heard it. It's got this like old school dubstep feel, and then it also has a little bit of the new style. I think when I first listened to it, I said it's almost like a little Flux like. The drop on this is just nasty. Is the best. I think that's the best word for it. And then you get these like spacey arps going. Oh. The like meter changes. In the current era of bass music, this stands out as really impressive and just really unique. I don't know why this track isn't more well known. It's just incredible. Alright, getting down to the top 5. This is a song I refuse to let the radio ruin. I usually am listening to like Sirius XM and when I'm driving places. This is always on BPM, and I always change the channel because I'm like, I'm not gonna let this one get old. ARTY and Audien just nailed it. This should have been the festival song of the year. So they got robbed because this would have been the song of the summer, hands down. I mean, it is the most infectious song I've heard this year. I've played this like just walking around my apartment, and you have to jump. Like, it's just too good. I don't care if you're not big into house tracks, especially like if you're like really into bass music, but like, I don't know how you don't feel good during the song. Get me to a festival. All right, number 4 was Go with Pluko. I had high expectations for this album, and boy did he deliver. Just one of those openers to an album that just sets the bar. And it reminds me a bit of Flume's opener back in the day on Skin, Helix. One of my favorite songs to this day, and this is now one of my favorite songs because it is similar and also epic. I mean, no vocals, just pure showing off. This is another one of those where upon first listen, I was like, oh, this is an immediate favorite. Like, this is going into my all-time greats. Yeah, I feel like I don't need to say a whole lot. This song just kind of speaks for itself. Coming into number 3, Don't Care Crown, Fox Stevenson. Probably the artist of the year for me. His ability to blend across different genres is amazing. This song is dangerous to listen to while you're in the car because you just automatically want to floor it. The energy and just, you know, the typical drum and bass style is just... I mean, is it just me or is that melody just spot on? I'm just on board from the moment I hear it. He's got this like awesome blend of indie kind of punk vibe mixed with all sorts of electronic elements. This was a toss-up. I was between Don't Care Crown and New Amsterdam. He's got a lot of quality stuff out there. I had to stop myself because I've noticed I'm becoming more of a hype man and not really explaining why I like these songs. Listen to this song, bro. But yeah, this song is just like carefree with great energy. An absolute favorite for a long time. Coming in at number 2, a song everybody can pretty much agree on was one of the greatest dubstep bangers of the year. If there's some bass heads out there that don't agree, I don't know any of them because all my Wook friends love this song. All my friends that aren't even into bass music love this song. This song holds a special spot for me because it was actually the first week I had this wall up, and I just remember this being like an absolute like holy shit. And an underappreciated part of it with Atmosphere, he's actually a rapper I listened to like way back in the day and not too many people are familiar with. It was a perfect storm of collabs. They had to know when they made this, they're like, oh. I imagine there was a moment where they looked at each other and was like, oh dude, this is it. This little ascending thing here, So good. Absolute geniuses. Yeah, this will be played for years and years and years. This song is not going away anytime soon. That element, every time it comes on, you just want to turn it up a little bit more. At number 1, Seven Lions, HALIENE, What's Done Is Done. An immediate favorite for me. Has like everything you could want out of a melodic bass track. I remembered listening to the EP. I sat down on my couch with headphones on, start to finish. Was absolutely blown away. Easily the best EP of the year in my opinion. And then HALIENE's voice in here is stunning. She's done collabs with him before and plenty of other like Ophelia Records artists and just other EDM artists. This one just felt like a masterpiece, and it really is. This is another one that just has the musicality to it. It's epic, it's got high energy, low energy moments, it's just everything. That my ears perked up on verses when I heard these. I was like, oh, here we go! I would be covered head to toe in goosebumps if I got to see this live. I saw him in the ALLENIUM tour, like summer 2019, but he did not play this. And then you get these awesome drum and bass, like little bridges. This is where I was like, oh my god, does this get any better? That's easily the first song. Easily number 1. Not hard for me to choose. Let me know what you guys thought. What would your top 20 have been? Leave a comment. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe as well. Tell your friends about the channel. I post videos at least once a week, sometimes twice, sometimes 3 times a week. Just depends. This isn't my full-time job yet, but I will see you guys soon. Appreciate it. Thanks for watching.